I will probably call this one something like TOLTEC Techniques. So, in regards to Toltec, how do I describe them? Not exactly. Well, they are a kind of culture unto themselves, but not restricted to tribe or race. More so, just the passing on of knowledge. So they use, well, what I should say is, it's a direct approach to the so-called esoteric, which is being fairly westernized. In my view, it directly relates, or is the concepts universal and they translate. And let's take an example from something like the Essenes, these desert warriors, these Jewish desert warriors. It's basically shamanism, which is the oldest religion. It's per se, like, it's not a religion, it's just knowledge. So, yeah. And a lot of these, like, I know Carlos Castaneda is not anthropologically correct to a Yaqui Indian or what academia prescribe to certain people, but yeah, like it's irrelevant to like if you're a Yaqui Indian or you're a who knows, like someone like me, or just random white dude in suburbia. Like, who they were interested in, not people that want to study their shit. They want people to embody it, pass it on in various ways. That's who they were specifically interested in. So, when it comes to secret teachings, I mean, you could closely relate the stuff that's in those books of Carlos Castaneda to something like the Essenes, because it is direct, just like the Essenes, what they worked on a direct spiritual line to God. So we're looking here at Coatlicue and Aztec God. So when we're talking an Indian, like more recently, I guess, like if you read Carlos Castaneda, you might not know how to apply that knowledge, because you're looking at it maybe intellectually. It's in a story. You don't know what to pull out of it. What's like where the knowledge actually is, even when it's not pointed out, because it's not always just like, pointed out, but it is very much mapped, and there are certain techniques in there which are all props to unify your awareness to reach a state of true seeing. And we're probably going to discuss what, inverted commas, true seeing is here now. So it's not just, obviously, it's not just a matter of the eyes, it's, yeah, but we're gonna, when it comes to this, there are techniques you can use your eyes for, like, I mean, you know, with. So, spaces in between. When it comes to third eye meditation, what you're really going for is crossing those hemispheres of the brain, not the, you know, like the electrical fucking circuitry. You want to cross over there to reach what I've described as the lampstand, the center point, or the connecting mechanism, the middle point, the middle way. Vesica Pisces shit, you know. So when it comes to the eyes, to get the eyes tuned to the brain, sounding a bit scientific, but this is what knowledge is. Like, as Toltecs have their knowledge and science, you got your bullshit, they got whatever they're on about, like, and that kind of is the nature of seeing too. Like, not everyone's seeing is the same, and if you understand what seeing in inverted commas is, you'll understand that statement. So in those books written by Carlos and are pretty much dictated by another party to him, it talks about looking in the places in between also. Like, say you look at a tree, like, you want to train your brain and your eyes to, the eyes are like a directing focus, like, you know, move to see certain different areas in space. So don't have to see them as like seeing things, more like directing attention as well. There's all sorts of uses for the eyes, like these simple things, like, you know, like breath and stuff. Seeing, like, can be taken deeper. Most of the time it's just we haven't noticed the full potential. So when it comes to looking in the places in between, I've mentioned a tree. So instead of looking at the tree and the leaves and the branches and shit, like, look in the spaces in between, the empty space, right? When you look at a table, look under the table. When you look at freaking, you know, look in those little crevices and those corners in your room. Look, like, get your intent kind of trained with the eyes. You know, like, have you even used them yet? Like when my eyes hurt, you've never used them. Welcome to the Matrix, MFers. So, places in between. What's another thing? I don't know, like, yeah, just an example, like, you know, freaking not focusing on the objects of the world, like, kind of, like, and this also kind of stops the internal dialogue as well, like, stilling the mind. It's like, when you take everything in at once and not focus on the items of reality, there's other functions, mental functions going on there, okay? And it leads to something beyond mind, like, okay, so it's very simple. It sounds maybe even silly, but, like, you can take it to all sorts of depths. Like, I'm thinking of things to say now, but I don't want to say them because it's probably gonna get too technical. But so yeah, the eyes in relationship to the brain, you know, third eye stuff as well. Like, you'll never hear, like, shamanism, like, they understand the psychic eye, but it's not like that's your focus. Like, there are other things to reach the eye. There's steps to reach that level, right? Okay. So this is a statue of Coatlicue, and I want you to blur the eyes. I want you to like squint, lose complete focus, and like, you know, I mention this like because it's a good description for it. I was told Maurice Cottrell's books. Check him out. He's the one that decoded the Jade Mask that I referred to for some of these reality truths or whatever. So yeah, like why I want you to look at this is because something else emerges in the middle of this statue, and it's not what the actual statue is. There's a bearded man in a coat in there somewhere. There's a man behind this monster, okay? And the monster is what you see, but yeah, in the spaces in between space, you feel me? This, yeah, just a man. So anyway, because if you've heard of the Judaculla stone, seen it around, but Diamond from Oppenheimer Ranch recently brought it up. So this is it, and he was explaining how these are like plasma glyphs that we're seeing in the sky, and I agree. And they were recreated in the lab. I'll leave links in the description just so you can confirm that and understand a bit more what I'm talking about if you don't already know. So these symbols occur in like also plasma labs. They've recreated all this stuff, the shapes and stuff. So these things will ignite in the sky that you will have not seen before due to weakened magnetosphere solar blasts coming in and illuminating them or whatever. It's pretty much, I mean, you can see it all happening too, like even now, like yeah, but even without that, I'm gonna tell you now, you can witness this. Say you get a blanket of cloud. Don't look at the blanket, look at the spaces in between, and I'm talking you will see all these dots as well. Certain times when there's maybe solar activity, I've seen it recently, and there's been a bit of recent, we've copped a few blasts and thought maybe it could have caused those spaces. So a blanket of cloud, right, imagine this rock as a cloud. Now I've seen this with my own eyes, like, and I've followed the trails, the spaces in between, like the breaks in the cloud, and yeah, and the dots, which Diamond also refers to in the video he does, they can also be seen. So this is part of the importance of looking at the spaces in between. When I first started seeing it, I was like looking at like what looked like, you know, a hieroglyphic or a language, an alphabet there, and I think that's where some languages did appear from seeing this stuff, these shapes, and yeah, it's just interesting that these are behind reality. Like, I guess you can describe our reality as also filling in the space, an empty space, or yeah, it's a dimensional layering is what it is. Yeah, we can take even these concepts, and why it's interesting and why I'm coupling it with this, with Carlos Castaneda, which no one seems to read and seems to have, like, you know, some sort of secret teaching which is like a fucking background to the deepest shit. So yeah, like it allows you to fucking basically like even all this Egyptian shit that I like translate. It's basically like all stemming from Carlos and his like what he was able to retrieve from the Toltec he had an encounter with. Now this stuff was like, you know, in that book was like coming to me from the age of 4 and stuff. Like I have associations myself with this kind of thing. And this is why I'm telling you, like, do you see the Indian connection? Like, you think it's not anthropologically correct when he's talking about spaces in between, and like, this is Indian stuff, right? Okay? And this is Indian stuff, right? Okay? So, like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, those techniques that are in that book, if you don't think they're legit or just bullshit stories, why are those techniques embedded into this artwork here and stuff? And why have I been seeing constantly, like, even these sort of patterns, even before they become super illuminated like they will probably do in the future and enhanced, possibly even look like the sky's on fire with them. You might even see beings, because I do watch beings move, you know, even with the portals, the pipes all around the earth. I watch them, they rock up to them, they move in and out of them, through them, like, it's all up there. Like, practice a bit of seeing. I'm not like full into it. Like, I do have a life and I like to relax and, like, you know, but fucking it's up in my grill. That's all. It's just in my grill. So I'll talk about it, I'll explain it. It's just one Toltec technique. Like, it's so simple, and like, you practice it a bit here and there, and like, you associate it with other stuff. That's why it holds up, because it aligns with this, it aligns with other esoterica. You just don't see the connection because it's in a different format and wording. Okay. I know there's a lot of stuff on YouTube bagging Castaneda, and I'm like, yeah, he's probably a total fuckhead. Like, yeah, so what? Like, the information is recorded is the main thing. Like, you know, the status of the message is always in question, as they say, but like, fucking forget it. Like, it's none of your fucking business, really. Like, just take what you can from it. Like, not asking you all to be Toltecs, but you need to understand this shit because it relates to your own awareness and consciousness. Like, if you just want to keep witnessing 0.0001% of reality or whatever, that's fine. But, you know, you're going to end up clashing with someone like me. Okay, it's just going to clash, and yeah. This is why I stay away from people. It's not because they piss me off, it's perception. Like, you walk into a room, you're subject to the perception. Like, how many can you take on? Like, next thing you know, you're stalking them, which is, you know, you need energy to stalk, because we know the majority of people are stalkers. Okay, so I think that's all for this video. It's gone for 20 minutes already. I'll leave you alone now. Yeah, have a nice relaxing day or night or whatever.